Captain Dae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of his ship and looked out at the stars. The view never got old. Billions of lights scattered across the black sky like tiny diamonds. His ship, the Indomitable, was small compared to most space vessels. It looked like a metal bird with wings that could cut through space faster than anything humans had ever built before. "Captain," said Lieutenant Yoon-Soo Park from her station, "we're getting close to the edge of the Kepler 442 system." Her fingers moved quickly across the control panel. Numbers and charts filled her screen. "All systems are working fine," Dae-ho nodded. This was their first real mission outside of Earth's solar system. The brass had picked his crew carefully. Each person on this ship was the best at what they did. They had trained for 2 years for this moment. First contact with alien life, if they found any. "So Young, anything on the long-range sensors?" Dae-ho asked. Communications Officer So Young Lee shook her head. Her job was to listen for any signals from space. Radio waves, energy patterns, anything that might mean intelligent life was out there. "Nothing yet, Captain. Space is quiet here." The Indomitable moved through space like a silver arrow. Its engines barely made a sound. The ship was built for speed and stealth, not for fighting. Earth's leaders hoped they would never need to fight. They wanted to make friends with whoever they found out here, but they were ready for trouble just in case. Far away, in a different part of space, Fleet Admiral Thaxmol was having a boring day. His massive ship, the Dominion's Edge, was so big it could hold a small city inside it. Around him, 11 other ships floated in formation. Each one was a monster made of metal and weapons. They were the pride of the Valyrian Empire. The Valyrian Empire had ruled this part of space for 3,000 years. Their ships patrolled the trade routes. Their laws kept order on 1,000 worlds. No one challenged them anymore. Why would they? The Empire's ships were so powerful that most enemies gave up without a fight. Thaxmol had 6 eyes arranged around his large head. His skin was purple and covered in small scales. He was old even for a Valyrian, and he had seen many battles. But lately space had been peaceful. "Almost too peaceful, Admiral," said his sensor officer. "Small object detected at the edge of the system." Thaxmol barely looked up from his reports. "Size? Very small, sir. Maybe a cargo ship. Or space debris. Send the usual warning," Thaxmol said with a wave of his hand. "If it doesn't identify itself, destroy it." This was standard practice for the Empire. Unknown ships were dangerous. They might be pirates or rebels. Better to shoot first and ask questions later. It had worked for 3,000 years. On the Indomitable, alarm suddenly started ringing. "Captain," Yoon-Soo called out. 12 large ships just appeared on sensors. They're huge. Each one is at least 1,000 times bigger than us. Dae-ho felt his heart start beating faster. Where did they come from? They were hiding behind that gas giant. They're moving toward us now. "So Young, try to contact them," Dae-ho ordered. "Use all the mathematical languages we know. Tell them we come in peace." So Young's hands flew over her controls. She sent out signals in 17 different ways. Prime numbers, mathematical constants, simple addition and subtraction. These were supposed to be universal languages that any smart species would understand. The response came 30 seconds later. "Not words or numbers, but weapons fire. Energy discharge detected," Yoon-Soo shouted. "They're shooting at us!" Bright green bolts of energy flew through space toward the Indomitable. Each shot carried enough power to destroy a city block. The alien ships were trying to kill them without even asking who they were. "Jihai, get us out of here," Dae-ho yelled. Major Jihai Nam was the best pilot in Earth's fleet. Her hands moved like lightning on the controls. The Indomitable twisted and turned through space, dodging the green energy bolts by inches. Her face was calm, but her eyes were focused like a hawk hunting prey. "These ships are old," she said while flying. "Their targeting systems are slow. I can stay ahead of them for now." "Hyun-woo, charge the railgun!" Dae-ho ordered. Commander Hyun-woo Choi looked up from his weapons station. "Sir, we only have one shot that might hurt them. After that, we're defenseless. Then we better make it count." The largest alien ship, the one in front, fired again. This time the shot was closer. The Indomitable's shields flared blue as they absorbed the impact. Warning lights flashed all over the bridge. "Shields down to 60%, reported Engineer Bo Ram Han. "We can't take many more hits like that." Dae-ho studied the alien formation. The big ship in front was clearly the leader. If they could damage it, maybe the others would back off. Or maybe they would all attack at once and destroy the Indomitable in seconds. "Sir," So Young said quietly. I'm still trying to contact them, but they're not listening. They're not even responding to our surrender signals. They don't want to talk, Deho realized. They just want us dead. This was not how first contact was supposed to go. In all the movies and books, aliens were either friendly or at least willing to communicate. These aliens were different. They were like sharks. They saw something unknown and their first instinct was to destroy it. Railgun is ready, Yunwu reported. One tungsten rod, accelerated to 30% light speed. If this hits their ship, it will go right through their hull. Target the lead ship. Center mass, targeting, locked on. Fire. The Indomitable shuddered as the railgun discharged. A metal rod smaller than a pencil shot through space faster than anything the aliens had ever seen. In their 3,000 years of rule, the Valyrian Empire had never faced a kinetic weapon traveling at such incredible speed. The rod hit the Dominion's edge and passed through it like a bullet through paper. The massive alien ship, which had seemed invincible just moments before, suddenly had a hole running from its front to its back. Air and debris exploded out into space. Admiral Thaxamel had just enough time to feel surprise before his ship's power failed and emergency system started, screaming warnings in his ears. The remaining 11 alien ships stopped shooting. For a moment, space was quiet except for the crackling of damaged systems on the alien flagship. Then all 11 ships turned their weapons toward the small human vessel and opened fire at the same time. The space around the Indomitable turned into a light show of death. 11 massive alien ships fired everything they had at the small human vessel. Green energy beams, plasma bolts, and explosive missiles filled the void. Each weapon carried enough power to level mountains. Incoming fire from all directions. Unsu shouted over the noise of alarms. I count over 200 separate weapons targeting us. Major Jihi-Nam's hands moved across her controls like she was playing a deadly piano. The Indomitable spun and rolled through space in ways that should have been impossible. The ship moved like a dancer, flowing between the deadly streams of energy with grace that seemed almost magical. How was she doing that? Whispered Boram Han as she watched the pilot work. Jihi had spent months modifying the ship's inertial dampeners. The changes she made let the Indomitable turn and move in ways that would have crushed the crew of any normal ship. Her secret was simple. Humans could survive forces that would kill most other species. Their bodies were built tough because they came from a world that tried to kill them every day. Captain Daeho Kim watched the tactical display. The alien ships were trying to surround them, but they were too slow. Their huge size made them powerful but clumsy. It was like watching elephants try to catch a hummingbird. Sir, said Hyunwoo Choi from the weapons station, the railgun needs 3 minutes to recharge. We only have conventional missiles left. Save them, Daeho ordered. Those won't even scratch their hulls. On the alien flagship, Admiral Thaxamel was trying to understand what had just happened to his ship. Emergency lights flashed red throughout the bridge. Half of his crew was dead or injured. The hole through his ship was perfectly round and went through 17 decks. What kind of weapon was that? He demanded. His science officer, Kreldon, studied the damage reports with his tentacles shaking. Admiral, the projectile was moving at nearly light speed. The kinetic energy was enormous, but it was just a piece of metal. A piece of metal? Thaxamel could not believe it. Our shields should have stopped any solid projectile. Not at that velocity, sir. The impact energy was greater than our main plasma cannons. Thaxamel stared at the small human ship on his screen. It was still dodging his fleet's weapons like they were moving in slow motion. His best gunners could not hit something so small and fast. How are they moving like that? He asked. Unknown, sir. Their ship should have broken apart from those acceleration forces. No known species can survive such maneuvers. The truth was that humans were different from every other intelligent species in the galaxy. Most aliens had evolved on worlds with light gravity and gentle environments. They had never needed to become tough. Earth was different. Earth was a death world where everything wanted to kill you. Humans had survived ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues, and predators. Their bodies were built like tanks compared to other species. Aboard the Indomitable, Dr. Ye-Jin Cho was monitoring the crew's health during the battle. Her medical scanners showed that everyone was handling the extreme maneuvers well. Their heart rates were up, but their bodies were designed for this kind of stress. All crew members are green across the board, she reported to the captain. We can keep this up for hours if needed. So Young Lee was still trying to contact the alien fleet. Captain, I'm picking up their communications. They're speaking to each other, but they won't respond to us. What are they saying? I'm running it through the translation matrix now. So Young paused as the computer worked. Sir, they're calling us the small metal death. They think we're some kind of advanced weapon. Daeho almost smiled despite the situation. The aliens had never seen anything like humans before. They did not understand that this was just a small exploration ship with a crew of 12 people. Railgun is charged and ready, Hyunwoo announced. Target their command ship again. Different section this time. Locked on. Fire. Another tungsten rod shot through space at incredible speed. This one hit the alien flagship near its engines. The massive ship shuddered and began to drift as its power systems failed completely. Admiral Thaxamol found himself floating in zero gravity as his artificial gravity gave out. The other alien ships stopped firing for a moment. Their admiral's ship was crippled and helpless. They had never seen an enemy weapon that could do such damage with such a small projectile. Sir, Yunsu said quietly, I'm detecting a massive energy buildup from the alien fleet. They're preparing to fire everything at once. Daeho looked at the tactical display. The aliens were changing their strategy. Instead of trying to hit his ship precisely, they were going to fill this entire area of space with energy. There would be nowhere to dodge. Ji-Hai, can you get us out of range? The pilot shook her head. Not before they fire, sir. We're about to be in the middle of an energy storm. Bo-Ram, what about the experimental system? Engineer Bo-Ram Han looked nervous. The quantum displacement field is untested, sir. We don't know if it will work, and we don't know what it might do to us. What's the worst that could happen? We could be scattered across 17 dimensions, or erased from existence, or better than being blown up, Daeho decided. Activate it. Bo-Ram's fingers hesitated over the controls. The quantum displacement field was based on theories that most scientists said were impossible. It was supposed to shift the ship slightly out of normal space-time, making them invisible and untouchable while still allowing them to see and act in the real world. Activating in 3, 2, 1. The universe around the Indomitable suddenly became strange. Colors shifted and sounds became muffled. The ship was still there, but it was also not there. It existed in the spaces between reality. The alien fleet fired. Every weapon on 11 massive ships discharged at the same time. The amount of energy released could have boiled the oceans of a planet. The space where the Indomitable had been became a miniature star for several seconds. When the light faded, the human ship was gone, on his damaged bridge. Admiral Thaxamol stared at empty space where his enemy had been. His sensors showed nothing. No debris, no energy signature, no trace that the ship had ever existed. Did we destroy it? He asked. Kreldon checked his instruments. Sensors show nothing, Admiral, but what? The weapon signatures don't match a ship destruction. It's like they simply vanished. Thaxamol felt a chill run through his scaled body. In 3,000 years, the Empire had never faced an enemy that could simply disappear. Ships could be destroyed or captured, but they could not just stop existing. Send a message to Imperial Command, he ordered. Tell them we have encountered something new, something dangerous. What Admiral Thaxamol did not know was that the small human ship was still there, floating invisible just a few thousand meters away. The crew of the Indomitable could see everything, but the aliens could not see them. Captain Daeho Kim studied the alien fleet through sensors that worked on different principles than theirs. He was learning about their weapons, their tactics, and their weaknesses. Most importantly, he was recording everything. So Young, send a quantum burst transmission to Earth Command. Full tactical report. Transmission sent, sir. Earth will receive it instantly. 50 light-years away, Admiral Sunmi Kang received the message in her command center. She read the report twice, then looked at the tactical situation display. 12 alien ships, each one massive and powerful. One small human ship cloaked and gathering intelligence. How long until our fleet can reach Captain Kim's position? She asked her aide. 6 hours at maximum speed, Admiral. Signal the fleet. We're going to make a very loud first impression. The alien fleet searched for ghosts in the void. Their sensors swept back and forth looking for any sign of the small human ship that had vanished. Admiral Thaxamol floated in his damaged command center, trying to make sense of what had happened. Expand the search pattern, he ordered. Check for debris, energy traces, anything. His science officer Kreldon worked frantically at his station. The instruments showed confusing readings. Sometimes they detected the human ship, sometimes they did not. It appeared on gravity sensors but not visual ones. It showed up on thermal scans but disappeared from electromagnetic readings. "Admiral," Kreldon said, his voice shaking, "the readings are impossible. According to our sensors, the enemy ship is both there and not there at the same time. That makes no sense." "I know, sir, but our instruments don't lie." Just a few thousand meters away, the crew of the Indomitable watched the alien ships through their quantum displacement field. They could see everything clearly, but they were like ghosts, present but untouchable. Engineer Bo-Ram Han monitored the experimental cloaking system. Her screens showed that the quantum field was holding steady. The ship existed in a space between dimensions, invisible to normal sensors but still able to observe the real world. "How long can we maintain this?" asked Captain Dae-Ho Kim. "Unknown, sir," Bo-Ram replied. "This is the first time we've used it. The power drain is significant but manageable. The real question is whether the field will remain stable. What happens if it fails? We snap back into normal space-time." "Right in the middle of their fleet," Dae-Ho nodded. "That would be very bad. 11 angry alien warships would turn them into space dust in seconds." But for now they were safe and learning valuable information about their enemy. Lieutenant Yun-Soo Park was scanning the alien ships and recording everything. "Captain, I'm detecting major weaknesses in their shield systems. The harmonics are all wrong. If we knew the right frequency, we could punch right through them. Keep analyzing. We might need that information." Communications officer So-Young Lee was listening to alien transmissions. The translation software was getting better at understanding their language with each passing minute. "Sir, they're calling for reinforcements," she reported. "More ships are coming." "A lot more. How many?" "I count at least 50 vessels heading this way. They'll arrive in about 4 hours. Dae-Ho felt his stomach tighten. 12 alien ships had been manageable barely. 50 ships would be impossible, even with their cloaking device. "Time for the cavalry to arrive," he muttered. Far away in space, Admiral Sun-Mi Kang stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Vengeance. Around her, 37 Earth Defense Fleet ships moved through hyperspace at maximum speed. Each ship was larger and more heavily armed than the Indomitable. They had been built for war, not exploration. "ETA to target zone?" she asked. 2 hours, Admiral," replied her navigation officer. "Signal the fleet. When we arrive, we go in hard and fast. No warnings, no negotiations." They shot first. The alien empire had made a critical mistake. They had attacked without trying to communicate. In human military doctrine, that made them hostile combatants. Earth's response would be swift and overwhelming. Back at the battle site, the alien fleet was getting nervous. They had been searching for the vanished human ship for over an hour with no success. Some of the younger officers were starting to whisper about ghost ships and supernatural enemies. Admiral Thaxmall tried to keep order, but his own confidence was shaken. In 3,000 years of Empire rule, nothing like this had ever happened. Ships did not simply vanish in the middle of battle. "Continue the search," he ordered. "Increase sensor power to maximum." The massive alien ships spread out in a search pattern, their sensors probing every inch of space. They found nothing, because there was nothing to find in normal space-time. The Indomitable was hiding in a place they did not know existed. Dr. Ye-Jin Cho was studying the alien broadcasts and learning disturbing things about their species. "Captain, based on their communications, I don't think they understand the concept of peaceful contact. Their entire culture seems built around conquest and domination." "Wonderful," Dae-Ho said. "We found the one species in the galaxy that shoots first and asks questions never." "There's more, sir. They call themselves the Valerian Empire. They control over 1,000 star systems. They've never met an enemy they couldn't defeat. They've never met humans before." Pilot Ji-Hai Nam was studying the alien ship movements and tactics. "Sir, they're predictable. They always use the same formations, the same attack patterns. It's like they've been fighting the same way for centuries." "That's because they probably have," Dae-Ho realized. "When you always win, you don't need to change your tactics." The aliens had become comfortable in their dominance. They fought the same way against every enemy because it always worked. But humans were different. Humans adapted, improvised, and overcame. It was what they did best. "Contact from Earth Command," So-Young announced. "Admiral Kang reports that the fleet will arrive in 1 hour. Tell her about the incoming alien reinforcements." "Already done, sir. She says to sit tight and keep recording data. As if summoned by their conversation, new contacts appeared on the long-range sensors. The alien reinforcements were arriving early. Ship after ship dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. The alien fleet was growing larger by the minute. 53 ships now, Yunsu reported. All of them bigger than anything we've ever built. Admiral Thaxmol received the reinforcements with relief. Surely 53 ships could find and destroy one small enemy vessel. He ordered the new arrivals to join the search pattern. Admiral, his communications officer reported. Fleet Command is asking for a status update. Thaxmol hesitated. How could he explain that his mighty fleet had been defeated by a single small ship that had then vanished into thin air? The Empire's leadership would think he had lost his mind. Tell them we are pursuing an enemy vessel with unknown technology. More information will follow. It was the truth, but not the whole truth. He did not mention that his flagship was crippled, or that his fleet had been completely outmaneuvered by an enemy they could not even see. Aboard the Indomitable, the crew watched the alien fleet grow larger. More and more ships arrived until the space around them was filled with massive alien vessels. Each ship was a floating fortress bristling with weapons. They really don't like us, Jihai commented. Can you blame them? Hyunwoo said. We did punch a hole through their admiral ship. After they tried to blow us up without even saying hello, Yunsu pointed out. Captain Daeho Kim studied the tactical display. 53 alien ships versus one cloaked human vessel. The odds were impossibly bad, but help was coming. He just had to keep his ship hidden for a little while longer. Movement on the far sensors, Yunsu suddenly announced. Multiple contacts dropping out of hyperspace. Large energy signatures. The reinforcements? Asked Daeho. No, sir, these are different. The engine signatures match Earth Defense Fleet vessels. On the main screen, space began to fill with new arrivals. Human ships, sleek and deadly, appeared one by one. First a few, then dozens. The Earth Defense Fleet had arrived in force. Admiral Sunmi Kang's voice came over the communication system. Captain Kim, this is Admiral Kang. Sorry we're late to the party. Better late than never, Admiral. What's the plan? The plan is simple. These aliens think they can attack human ships without consequences. We're going to teach them otherwise. The alien fleet suddenly found themselves facing a new enemy. Human ships appeared all around them, surrounding the aliens who had thought they were the hunters. The predators had become the prey. Admiral Thaxmol stared at his sensors in growing horror. Enemy ships were appearing everywhere, and they all looked like the small vessel that had vanished. But these ships were not small. They were warships built for destruction. How many? He asked. 37 confirmed contacts, his sensor officer replied. All human vessels. Thaxmol realized with growing dread that the small ship had not been alone. It had been a scout, gathering information and calling for help. The Empire had walked into a trap. The space around the Kepler 442 system had become a powder keg ready to explode. 53 massive Valyrian warships faced 37 human vessels in a deadly standoff. The aliens had size and numbers on their side. The humans had something else entirely. Admiral Sunmi Kang stood on the bridge of her flagship and studied the enemy formation. Each alien ship was at least 10 times larger than her vessels, but size was not everything in space combat. Speed, tactics, and crew skill mattered more than tonnage. Analysis complete, reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Commander Hae-Won Song. The alien ships are powerful but slow. Their shield frequencies are predictable, and their weapon systems have significant blind spots. How significant? Each ship has a dead zone directly above and below their main hull. Their weapons can't target anything in those positions. Admiral Kang smiled. The aliens had built their ships for fighting enemies who came at them head-on. They had never faced an enemy that could attack from unexpected angles. Signal the fleet. Attack pattern Delta 7. Hit them from above and below simultaneously. The human ships began to move. Unlike the aliens who stayed in rigid formations, the human vessels spread out like a pack of wolves circling their prey. Each ship moved independently, but they all worked together toward the same goal. Captain Taijun Yoon commanded the destroyer Retribution. His ship was one of the fastest in the fleet, built for hit-and-run attacks. He took his vessel up and over the alien formation, positioning himself directly above their largest ship. Target their communication arrays first, he ordered his weapons officer. Cut off their ability to coordinate. The Retribution fired a salvo of kinetic rounds at the alien flagship. The tungsten projectiles, traveling at incredible speed, punched through the ship's shields like they were made of paper. The alien communication arrays exploded in showers of sparks and debris. Admiral Thaxmol felt his ship shake as the human weapons found their mark. His communication systems went dark, cutting him off from the rest of his fleet. Without central coordination, each alien ship would have to fight independently. "Return fire," he ordered, but the human ship was already gone, moving to its next target. All around the battlefield, similar attacks were happening. Human ships appeared from impossible angles, struck hard at critical systems, then vanished before the aliens could respond. It was like fighting shadows. The aliens tried to use their massive firepower to saturate the space around them with energy, but the humans were too fast and too smart. They stayed in the alien blind spots, attacking weak points with surgical precision. Captain Daeho Kim watched the battle from his cloaked position. The Indomitable was still hidden by its quantum displacement field, but now it was no longer alone and helpless. His fellow humans were turning the tables on the alien empire. "Should we decloak and join the fight?" asked Hyun-Woo Choi. "Not yet," Daeho replied. "We're more valuable as observers. Keep recording everything." The battle was unlike anything the Valyrian Empire had ever experienced. For 3,000 years, they had fought enemies who met them head-on in massive fleet engagements. Their tactics were based on overwhelming firepower and intimidation. But the humans did not fight like that. Human military doctrine was based on the idea of asymmetric warfare. When facing a stronger enemy, you did not meet them strength against strength. You found their weaknesses and exploited them ruthlessly. You struck where they were vulnerable and avoided where they were strong. Commander Hyun-Ju Lee piloted her Corvette Dancing Blade through the alien formation like a needle through cloth. Her ship was the smallest in the human fleet, but also the most maneuverable. She targeted sensor arrays, weapon control systems, and engine components. "Another communication hub destroyed," she reported over the tactical network. "The aliens are having trouble talking to each other." This was a key part of the human strategy. The Valyrian ships were designed to work together as a coordinated fleet. Without communication, they became individual targets that could be picked off one by one. Sensor analyst Min Seo-an aboard Admiral Kang's flagship was discovering something disturbing about the human weapons. Her instruments showed that the kinetic cannons were operating at less than half power. "Admiral," she reported quietly, "the fleet is holding back. Our weapons are firing at only 40% capacity." Admiral Kang nodded. "Good. We're not here to start a war. We're here to end one." The truth was that the human ships were testing the alien defenses, gathering data about their technology and capabilities. Every shot fired was a probe to learn more about Valyrian engineering. The humans were fighting a training exercise while the aliens were fighting for their lives. This restraint was more terrifying than any display of raw power could have been. The aliens were being systematically dismantled by an enemy that was not even trying their hardest. Aboard the alien flagship, Admiral Thaxmol watched his fleet fall apart. Ship after ship reported critical damage to their systems. The humans were not trying to destroy his vessels completely. Instead, they were disabling them, leaving the crews alive but helpless. "Why aren't they finishing us off?" asked his science officer Kreldon. Thaxmol did not have an answer. In his experience, enemies either destroyed you or surrendered to you. This middle ground was something new and frightening. The answer was simple but alien to Valyrian thinking. Humans were gathering intelligence. Every disabled ship was a source of information about Empire technology. Every surviving crew member was a potential source of knowledge about Valyrian culture and capabilities. Dr. Ye-jin, Cho aboard the Indomitable, was analyzing the alien communications that So-Young Lee was intercepting. The medical officer had discovered something that made her blood run cold. "Captain," she said quietly, "I've been studying their language and culture. The Valyrians have words for enemy like conquest and submission, but they don't have a word for mercy." Daeho Kim felt a chill run down his spine. "What does that mean?" "It means they don't understand why we're not killing them. In their culture, if you have the power to destroy an enemy completely, you do it. The concept of showing restraint is foreign to them. They think we're weak? No, sir. I think they're starting to realize we're something much worse than weak. We're incomprehensible." The battle continued for another hour. The human fleet moved through the alien formation like a scalpel, cutting away weapons, sensors, and communication systems with surgical precision. The massive Valyrian ships, which had seemed so powerful at the start, were being reduced to floating metal hulks. Finally, Admiral Kang decided the demonstration had gone on long enough. All ships fall back to defensive positions. Cease offensive operations. The human fleet pulled back, leaving the alien ships crippled but not destroyed. The space between the two forces fell silent except for the crackling of damaged alien systems. Admiral Thaxmol found himself in command of 53 ships that could barely fight. His flagship was dead in space, its engines offline and its weapons destroyed. Around him, the rest of his fleet was in similar condition. "Damage report," he croaked. "All ships report critical systems failure," replied his surviving communications officer. "Weapons offline, engines damaged, sensors destroyed, but what?" "No ships destroyed, sir. No crew casualties from enemy action. They disabled us without killing anyone." Thaxmol stared at the human fleet, which had withdrawn to a safe distance. The alien admiral had fought in dozens of battles during his long career. He had never seen anything like this. The humans had completely defeated his fleet without spilling a drop of blood. "What do they want?" he whispered. The answer came in the form of a transmission from the human flagship. Admiral Kang's voice filled the bridge of the damaged Valyrian vessel. "Attention, Valyrian fleet. I am Admiral Sunmi Kang of the Earth Defense Force. Your ships have been disabled but not destroyed. Your crews are unharmed. We are prepared to discuss terms for your safe return to Empire space." Thaxmol looked around his ruined bridge. His proud fleet had been humiliated by an enemy that was holding back their true power. The Empire's perfect record of victory had been shattered in a few hours. "Open a channel," he ordered. The communication channel opened with a burst of static. For the first time in 3,000 years, a Valyrian fleet admiral was about to surrender to an enemy. Admiral Thaxmol's 6 eyes focused on the transmission screen, where the image of a human female appeared. Admiral Sunmi Kang was smaller than any intelligent species the Empire had encountered. Her frame looked delicate compared to the massive Valyrians, but her eyes held a hardness that spoke of battles fought and won. When she spoke, her words carried authority that made seasoned warriors listen. "Admiral Thaxmol of the Valyrian Empire," she said. "I am prepared to accept your surrender." Thaxmol's scales rippled with emotion he could not name. Defeat was a new experience for him. "What are your terms, human?" "Your fleet will be escorted to the edge of this system. Your crews will be returned safely to Empire space. In exchange, you will carry a message to your leaders." "What message?" Admiral Kang paused for a moment, choosing her words carefully. "Tell them that humanity extends an offer of peaceful contact. We have no interest in conquest or domination, but we will defend ourselves if attacked." The alien admiral felt confusion wash over him. "You could destroy us completely. Why let us live?" "Because we are not you." Those 5 simple words carried more weight than any threat could have. They told Thaxmol that humans were fundamentally different from every species the Empire had encountered. The Valyrians conquered because they could. Humans chose mercy because they could. "I do not understand," Thaxmol admitted. "You will," Admiral Kang replied. "In time." Captain Daeho Kim received permission to decloak the Indomitable. The small ship materialized out of empty space, appearing beside the human fleet like a ghost becoming solid. The alien crews watched in amazement as the vessel they had thought destroyed revealed itself. "Impossible," whispered Kreldon from his station. "How long were they hidden there?" "The entire battle," Thaxmol realized. "They watched us lose." The implications hit him like a physical blow. The humans had not just defeated his fleet. They had studied it, recorded its weaknesses, and learned its secrets. Somewhere in human space, military analysts were already preparing reports on Valyrian tactics and technology. Dr. Ye-Jin Cho transported over to the alien flagship to provide medical assistance to the injured. It was a gesture of goodwill, but it also served another purpose. She was the first human to set foot on an alien ship, and everything she observed would be valuable intelligence. The Valyrian crew watched her work with a mixture of fear and fascination. Her medical equipment was more advanced than anything they had seen. Her understanding of alien biology was impressive despite this being first contact. Most unsettling of all was her physical strength. "How much does your planet's gravity affect your species?" asked the alien medical officer. "Earth gravity is 9.8 meters per second squared," Dr. Cho replied while treating a wounded Valyrian. "Why?" The alien medic did some quick calculations and his face went pale. That is 3 times normal gravity for most civilized worlds. How do you survive in such conditions? We evolved there. Earth is what you might call a death world. Death world? High gravity, violent weather, dangerous predators, frequent natural disasters. Our planet tried to kill us for millions of years. It made us very hard to kill. Word of this conversation spread quickly through the alien fleet. The humans had not just defeated them with superior technology. They were physically superior as well, evolved on a world that would crush most alien species. Engineer Boram Han worked with a team of specialists to help repair critical systems on the alien ships. It was another gesture of goodwill, but it also allowed the humans to examine Valerian technology up close. Every component they touched taught them something new about the Empire's capabilities. Their engineering is impressive but inefficient, she reported to Captain Kim. Everything is built for maximum power with no consideration for energy conservation. They must have unlimited resources, or they've never faced an enemy that forced them to be efficient, Kim replied. Communications officer So-Young Lee had been listening to transmissions from the alien fleet. The translation software was now fluent in the Valerian language, and what she heard was disturbing. Captain, the alien crews are terrified, she reported. They're not just afraid of our weapons. They're afraid of us as a species. Why? They think we're apex predators. In their language, they're calling us the hunting pack from the dark spaces. They've never encountered a species that fights the way we do. The truth was that humans were apex predators. On Earth, they had climbed to the top of the food chain not through size or natural weapons, but through intelligence, cooperation, and relentless determination. These same traits made them formidable in space combat. Admiral Sunmi Kang met with Admiral Thaxmol aboard the human flagship. The meeting took place in a conference room that had been modified to accommodate the aliens' larger size and different atmospheric needs. Your species is very young, Thaxmol observed. How long have you had space travel? Less than 200 years, Admiral Kang replied. The alien admiral's eyes widened. Impossible. Your technology is more advanced than species that have been spacefaring for millennia. We learn quickly. We have to. Why? Admiral Kang considered her answer carefully. Because on our world, the species that do not adapt quickly die out. Evolution is a harsh teacher, but an effective one. Thaxmol was beginning to understand that humans were not just another spacefaring species. They were something new and dangerous. Their entire evolutionary history had prepared them for conflict and survival. What will happen now? He asked. That depends on your Empire's response to our message. We hope for peace, but we are prepared for war. And if there is war? Admiral Kang's expression grew cold. Then you will discover that this battle was just a gentle introduction to human capabilities. We have been very careful not to show you our true strength. The alien admiral felt a chill run through his body. The humans had defeated his fleet while holding back. The implications were terrifying. Sensor analyst Min Seo An had completed her analysis of the battle. Her report would become classified at the highest levels of Earth Command. The human fleet had operated at less than 40% capacity throughout the engagement. Their weapons had been powered down. Their most advanced systems had not been used. And their newest ships had not even participated. We could have destroyed their entire fleet in a minute, she reported to Admiral Kang. Instead, we took hours to disable them carefully. Good. Fear is more useful than destruction. A destroyed fleet tells the Empire nothing, except that we have powerful weapons. A defeated but intact fleet tells them that we could have destroyed it, but chose not to. This psychological warfare was more effective than any display of raw power. The Valerian Empire would spend years analyzing the battle, trying to understand human capabilities. They would always wonder what other weapons and technologies the humans were hiding. Dr. Yejin Cho completed her medical scans of the Valerian survivors. Her report would shock the military leadership back on Earth. The aliens were physically weak compared to humans. Their bone density was low, their muscle mass was minimal, and their reaction times were slow. Captain, these beings evolved on low-gravity worlds with gentle environments, she reported to Daeho Kim. They're not built for combat stress. A human child would be stronger than most adult Valerians. Are you saying we're naturally superior? I'm saying we're naturally different. They evolved for intelligence and cooperation in safe environments. We evolved for survival and combat in hostile conditions. The human fleet began escorting the damaged Valerian ships toward the edge of the system. The aliens would be given enough fuel and spare parts to reach the nearest Empire outpost. From there, word of the battle would spread throughout Valerian space. As they traveled, Admiral Thaxmol composed his report to Imperial Command. How could he explain what had happened? How could he describe an enemy that fought like no other? Unknown ship appeared, then vanished. He dictated to his recorder.
Human fleet emerged from nowhere.
Our weapons could not touch them. Their weapons disabled us without killing. They showed mercy we do not understand. Recommend immediate ceasefire negotiations. The Empire never had a chance. He paused, then added a final line that would haunt him for the rest of his life. We have encountered apex predators disguised as diplomats. Proceed with extreme caution. The Valerian fleet limped away toward Empire space, carrying news that would change the galaxy forever. Behind them, the human fleet prepared for whatever response would come. Captain Dae-ho Kim stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and looked out at the stars. First contact had not gone as anyone had planned, but perhaps it had gone as it needed to. The galaxy now knew that humanity existed, and that they were not to be underestimated. "What happens next, sir?" asked Lieutenant Yunsu Park. "Now we wait," Kim replied. "The Empire has a choice to make. They can choose peace, or they can choose to learn what humans are really capable of when we stop holding back." Admiral Sun Mi Kang sent a message back to Earth Command. First contact completed. Alien fleet defeated with minimal casualties. Recommend preparation for diplomatic contact or military escalation. Humanity's expansion into the galaxy has begun. The age of human starflight was no